Hello friends, this video is about a chart type called a bar on pie or pie on pie chart. So very rarely used chart in Excel in my opinion. This chart has got a pie chart and in the right side it has a small pie or a bar. So the main pie chart will have a distribution of one data series into many slices, and any one slice can be described by the details with the help of a pie chart or a bar chart. For example, here I currently selected UK. Now that slice is having the bar chart distributed by cities in UK. And if I change this chart to any other country, you can see that distribution of that country and that cities. By default, this chart is not an animated chart in Excel. So recently I was using a same type of chart in Power BI. So I thought of creating the same animated chart in Excel so that when you select a slicer item, accordingly the information will be explained with that particular slice or that country by city. For that I have added a little bit of VBA code and then also explained how to create the data, etc. So mainly I followed these steps. The first step is I have explained how to create the dummy data so that what kind of data can be used on this chart. So again, preparing the data so that what kind of final prepared data can be used for this chart. Then started updating the code, then further preparation of the data, and finally finishing the code. So once you go through these steps, you will have the same outcome. Also, I think this video is going to give you an idea about how to deal with chart elements using VBA. So my suggestion is to watch this video till the end. And if you have any questions or feedback, please mention them in the comment section. So before going to watch this video, please do subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. And once you watch the video, please like this video and share with many. Thank you. So the first step is to create dummy data. Let me jump into Excel. I need 3 columns: country, city, and amount. I want 5 countries multiple times. So I'm creating a formula. And if I drag drop, I will get some 200 rows. Same way I want city. I can write the real city name, but to save the time, I'm taking 2 characters from each country and adding some number to it. So I'll have 5 cities for each country. So I want every name in uppercase. Finally, I want some random numbers. Control A, Control C, Alt ES V, so that all the values are copy pasted, so that rand between formula will now been saved as a normal number. I want to convert this into a table to handle it better. Control L, then I'm selecting the table name as revenue. Now my dummy data ready, but I want to have some additional helping columns. I want a country column having only unique names. So I need to remove the duplicates. Alt AM, I have a column with only unique values. And I want to name all these values as country, as a range name. So I'm selecting all and then I press Alt MC in the formula tab, create from selection. From the top row I'm selecting, so that if I select all these countries, the name of the range is called country. Next one is I need to create 2 pivot tables and press Alt and V. And then from the table, and the name of the table is revenue, name the table, the pivot table, as country. Drag drop country into rows, drag drop amount into values. I don't want totals, I want only the values. Design, then subtotals, no. Grand totals, no. Copy the table and paste it here. This table, first of all, I need to change the name of it. The name is city, and then city will be in the rows, country will be on filters. Now that is how 2 pivot tables are created. Now I need to control this country filter based on a specific selection. So let me name this as data, and I'll add one more page, name it as chart. Now what I want is, in the chart I'm going to create a drop down. The moment I select any specific country, I want this city related information should be filtered by that particular country related cities. For that, let me go to chart and select in the developer tab a selected drop down, and then I give a format control, that is the range of the input is equal country. Now that name is actually coming from the range which I have created there, so country, and I want to give a link to it. When I select countries, one value will be generated. That link will be A2, and if I press OK, what happens when I select Canada, the number will be 1. If I select US, the number will be 2 based on the position. Now here I need to actually bring the value because number is not going to help me. So I'll write a formula index, and then I select the array. Array is nothing but country, and then the number will be already generated from that selection, that is A2. And now you can see the moment I select any specific country, the value is coming, and I can see now whether it is India or US or UK, whatever it is. Now the coding part starts, because when I select India, I want the cities are filtered by Indian cities only. For that I need to start with developer tab and Visual Basic. Now I need to add a new module. Then the first sub procedure will be sub step 1. Now I need to see the references. This is M1 and that is A1. So in the chart it is A1 and in the data it is M1. So sheets data, comma, range M1 should be sheets chart dot range A1 dot value. Now I'll do one thing. I'll create one more macro which will be a controlling macro, step final, and then I'll say call step 1. Start and select this drop down and assign the macro called step final. Now what happens when I select any country? You can see that particular pivot table is now filtered by that city. To present this data in a pi on pi or bar on pi chart, I require 4 countries information. I have 5 countries, but I have to have only 4 countries information, and rest will be city information. For example, I have Canada. Now it is showing only Canada cities. So from this pivot table, I require only 4 countries without Canada, and below that I will have all the cities of Canada. That is how the pie chart also will show. One pie, all the countries, another pie, one country related cities in a small pie or bar. For that, first of all, I need to create a scenario that the moment I select the drop down with a country, that country should not be part of this table, this country pivot table, since it is there already as a city. So I need to create that control. Basically, it's a pivot table. Inside that, it's a pivot field. Inside that, it is pivot item. So the pivot item called Canada should be hidden. For that, I need to write the code. Go to the Visual Basic and step 2, sub step 2. So I need to mention what is that country, and I need to mention what is that column, and also I need to deal with pivot table. So I could create variables dim as string and dim pt as pivot table. Now what is t? Equal sheets chart dot range a1 dot value. Whatever country I selected, that value, and then set pt equal sheets data, it is pivot tables country. Now from that particular country pivot table, so pt dot clear filters, so that there is no filtered item is there in that. Then pt dot pivot fields, that is country, in that pivot items, that is whichever I selected in that other page, visible equals false. Now what exactly happens, let us see. So I'm first clearing all the filters in the country pivot table, and then if filters are not there, it will not do anything. If filters are there, it will remove the filters, and then it will select the country column, and from there it will remove that T is nothing but whatever is there in the chart sheet in the range A1, that value will be invisible. For example, I'm going to the first of all I need to call this, so I'll say call. Now if I go back to chart and if I select for example India, now India has been selected. Now India got Indian cities. Now in this chart, in this pivot table, you will not see India. And if I go back and select any other country, for example Australia, in this pivot table I've got only Australian cities, and in this pivot table I do not have Australia as a country. So this step will allow us to prepare the further data. Next step is to bring the data as per requirement. First I want this data, and below that city data. So I want to put this data inside O and P columns. So first of all I'll clean this entire area, then I'll create column headers, then I'll paste one by one. For that I'm using code. So go to Visual Basic and then step 3. Now I need to select the sheet. I need to activate the sheet, that is sheets data dot activate. Inside that range O and P, O P dot clear contents, because it's a repeated activity. So next time when I select, first time I select a slicer, I'll be getting some data, and second time when I select another item from the slicer, current data should be cleared and then a new data to be added. That is the reason I am doing this. Then range O2 dot value equal country, and then range P2 dot value equal revenue. Now where is my data in countries? That is I and J. So it is starting actually from I3, and in case of city it is starting from L4. First I'll look at I3. So range I3 comma range I3, basically shift and select kind of, and Excel down dot end Excel to right dot copy, and whatever I copied in that area I need to paste under country, so that I'll get the data. So range O2 dot end I think pay special, so that the data will be pasted. Same way I need to select from L4 onwards, because city related information I need to copy now. So that is there in L4. So that is L4 and L4, and by this time my country data is already pasted. So exactly below that I need to paste this data. So range, go to and Excel down. I need to come to the last cell, and below that I need to go down. Offset 1, 0 dot paste special. For example, I have added some countries here. So from here I'm coming to here. That is the last value. From there to I need to come to the immediate blank cell. There I'll be pasting this data. So this will take care of that. And this will create a complete table. So let me just call this step underscore 3. And then now let me go to chart and select any one city, Canada. Now you can see Canada is got filtered, and here Canada is not there. Now I have added only those related information, and then accordingly I added. Only thing is the headings are getting missed. I'll do one thing. I'll say O1 and P1 so that it will be easy for me. And now let me go back, select another country, Australia. Now you can see country revenue is intact, and then accordingly information is coming. Only Australia related cities are appearing, other countries are coming up. So now this is the data what we require for creating a chart. Now let me create a chart. To create the bar on pie chart or pie on pie chart, I need to go to first data, select the data, insert, select the pie chart. Out of that, select bar on pie chart. So this chart I want in chart sheet. So right click and move the chart to chart sheet and make it a little bigger. I want this to be backside, send to back, so that I can have the slicer on the top. Now I need to do some cleanup for this chart. So I'll add a code for it. So go to developer and Visual Basic and add another step. So that is sub step 4. Rather, this is the final step we are going to write. First of all, I need to activate the chart sheet. So sheets chart dot activate, and inside that I need to select the chart. So what is the chart name? Whenever you create a chart, by default the chart will have a name. Here it is chart 1. So active sheet dot shapes, because chart will come under the hierarchy of shapes. So chart 1 dot select, and then with the active chart, chart style equal 318. It's a nice style, you will see that. And active chart dot, there is one option called group, chart groups 1. So whatever the grouping is of entire chart, dot split value equal 5. So this is required for some reason, I will explain in a while. Now we have created it, and I need to call this step 4. Now let me select any city. Now you can see the chart is nicely coming up. Now it is showing all countries and then only India related items for cities. I need to add some data labels. So data label and select more options. Then go to category name, and the separator will be a space so that the information is coming up properly. Now one scenario will be that when you are actually creating a data, sometimes you will have 5 cities, sometimes you will have only 4 cities or 3 cities, whatever it is. Maximum is 5, but you can have 3 or 2. For example, I just go to data and then I'll just select any city. Let me select Australia 5 and make it as Australia 4. So that means Australia has only 4 cities. then this chart actually should show the way it has to show. Otherwise maximum is 5, but only in this case it is 4. So let me just refresh the pivot table so that this pivot table will understand what is happening. Now if I go and select Australia, it automatically gives you only 4. This will not happen if you are not adding this line. If you are missing this line, your chart will not understand what is the split value will be, and it will not understand what it has to add, and it takes a wrong number. And that is how we have created this nice chart. Now you can change this to a chart like pie chart also. Same thing will come, and accordingly just select the area, select the slicer, and you are now seeing the data dynamically. But only thing is little flickering is happening. For that I need to go to this code, the last step, the final step, application dot screen updating equal false, so that screen updating is not happening too much. And once this macro is dying, before it is dying or it is stopping, I need to say screen updating equal to, so that for other actions other than this macro actions, we should have that activated, right? So that is the reason we need to say true. Now what happens when I select anything, that flickering will not happen, only chart update only happens. It will not go to the other sheet and come back kind of, so that it will be easy for us.